Hey everyone, it's Grub. Welcome back to the forest. I figured I should give you guys a bit of an update about what all has been going on out here, because it's been a while since I posted anything. After spending a year living in an ice fishing shack, I knew that the main project for the summer was definitely going to be building a bigger home to live in for the coming winter. That's not to say that you can't make an 8x20 space work, but for sanity's sake, we're going to need a little bit more space. So I spent some time watching the Northern Lights, and there was plenty of beautiful light shows, who am I kidding? And put together some rough blueprints on how I thought the thing was going to work, and then set about making it happen. Well, the first thing I figured I should probably do would be decide where to put the damn thing. So after having chosen a location, I used my neighbor's skid steer to build up the ground a little bit. And I had somebody comment asking if I tried a garden or nothing like that. Well, I've never grown anything but older, so I tried potatoes, and I'll give you a bit more of an update on them later, but that's the first look at the Squirrel Hotel. And really, the only value it had to me was the iron skid it was on, and the fact that it was free, and really, really close. That's three pretty big pros, and and I get to knock it over, so that's another big pro. There's nothing more fun than breaking shit, especially when it's supposed to get broke. Anyways, we found a guy who had a big front end loader, so he just drove it up the street, which means we didn't need any big fancy low boys or nothing like that to get the foundation delivered for the first home that I'm gonna build.
Look at her go! Come on! Nice. Here comes the foundation for the first home that I get to build. Fuck yeah.
And a little bit more foreshadowing for you. That little black box that you see on the skinny end of the building, right there on the right hand side. And there. And there. Ends up being a pretty instrumental part of this whole project. And the theme of one man's trash being another man's treasure is certainly a recurring one.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Do-da-do-da-day. Seriously? That wasn't hot. Huh. That's not how I pictured that going. My thing is wiggling. This is nuts. Look at this, people. Why is this building still standing? There's no wall.
The roof is like, that's a custom build right there. You see it drains all the water to there, or there, and then it just pools in the middle. That's how you collect all your rainwater. It's a new it's a super green friendly home. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with the idea of collecting all of your rainwater right on your roof. Pretty flawless technique, actually.
I was kind of bummed that I didn't get it on video when the thing finally came down, but eventually it did. My most unexpected visitor of the summer was this inquisitive little black bear, who I was just sitting on my bed playing guitar, and I thought I heard a squirrel coming. Nope, stood up at the same time I did and tried to French kiss me. I also figured it'd be wise to get myself a truck. I've abused the Super Golf for long enough, and, well, I can't fathom the idea of bringing any sort of dimensional lumber out here to build this place with that. Using that old rickety piece of shit, I got all the garbage from this place cleaned up, and then I made a bigger garbage pile. I had a cool visitor, nice young white-tailed doe, hanging out in my front yard. Now what would be really cool is if I could see all of the animals that were stopping by in my forest. Because right now in this ice fishing shack, I have two windows. One of them looks right into the back side of my panels, and the other looks into the side of my tent garage. That's a problem we're gonna solve in this new cabin. As a way of celebrating having finished the demolition, I decided to go fishing in the front lake and collect some of the surf for the surf and turf later. From there, it was time to sell the Super Golf.
Bye-bye, Super Golf. I'm gonna miss ya.
Say goodbye and draw up the blueprints to get ready to start construction.
Oh my god, that thing is moving. Uh-oh. Look at the size of this thing. Holy shit, this is gonna be a storm. Oh my god. You know what? Let's make sure these windows are up before the rain hits, which is gonna be like now. Alright, those are up. Let's get back and watch, because this is gonna be cold. Holy guacamoses. Oh, I'm upside down now. No, which way? There we are. Oh my lord. Thank goodness I didn't go fishing tonight. There goes that. We're gonna lose at least one of these. God damn, that came out hard. always best to put that on. Just go the right way. Yeah, so seasons are very dead and they're very close, so yahoo! I love it. Alright, I need a shower anyways. Yeah. Oh, it's not running yet. Oh, it's starting though. Look, it's all coming from here. Ah! And then I'll run off there with my waterfall starting. My waterfall is starting! Okay, let's play a game called What's the Odds Grubber's Ever Gonna Live in the City? And the answer's fucking none. Because I have a little waterfall in my front yard. None. Look at this. Here it goes.
After having survived the storm, and now that the demolition's done, I figured it'd be prudent to get my hands on some blocks so I could get the skid off the ground and eventually get it leveled so that my floor is going to be
Look at the
level
pileated
down the
woodpecker.
road.
Where am I aiming?
Using the 5-ton jack that I borrowed from my dad, I just started pumping, basically. And it's onwards and upwards. I eyeballed it. And if I remember right, I got it within almost a 1/4 inch of completely level at all 4 corners. And then my neighbor Ian, who was a journeyman carpenter for a while, he's old, he came by with his builder's level, a big fancy tool, to make sure that I was as close as we could get it. We shimmied it around a little bit, and bada boom, bada bing. And now it's time to address the initial problem of having bought this place for the scenery and only being able to see the back of my solar panels in the side of a tent garage from inside my first house. I got lucky again. My brother was working construction, and the job site that they were at, they were renovating a place that burned down, and the people whose house had burned down, they were keen to see if there was a way that someone might be able to reuse some of the glass that they were just gonna toss. It ended up, according to the big boss man on the site, I believe he quoted it as about $180,000 in glass and frames, which ended up being quite a bit. It's a big number, but that's a lot more glass than I've ever seen in my damn life. But the big advantage here was I only had a limited amount of insulation. So now I knew for sure I'd be able to stretch the amount of insulation that I had to be more than enough for the entire build. Because wherever I would have ran out of insulation, I now just plan to put windows. At this point in the journey, I got adopted by a kitty, I guess. It just showed up one morning and did a little happy trot every time it seen me pull up in my truck. It'd wait for me outside my door in the morning. Yeah, all in all, was just a pretty friendly little fella. But with more important fish to fry at the moment, it's time to focus on the construction. I started with some pressure-treated lumber that would sit right on top of the iron, and that should be the only pressure-treated stuff that, according to Ian, that I would need for my floor. The rest of it, because it's never going to be in contact with the iron, theoretically shouldn't have to worry about rot or nothing like that, but only time will tell, I guess. You might say that overhang is excessive. I'd say you're following too close, but just for the shiggles of it, I laid out what 8x20 looks like on top of my new floor. This new place is going to be nice.
Alright, floor's done. Look, there's water there. And there's water there. Not a big deal. Fuck yeah.
The same as last year, the fog off the lake in the fall is breathtakingly beautiful. Absolutely worth the price of admission. But can't get distracted for too long. It's time to get my walls framed. I suppose it's worth mentioning that it may be obvious at this point to people who have seen all my other videos, but I've never built a damn thing in my life either. So this is probably not meant to be a tutorial of any sort.
Nice job, my little domesticated lion. That's you.
I'd absolutely not recommend following any of the building practices you're about to witness. They're most likely unsafe, and they're performed by a moron. All this is just to say that 80% of the time I'm going to be using the wrong tool for the job, and conservatively 30% of the time I'm going to get injured from doing so.
This is fucking sweet.
Now that all my walls are done, I rallied the troops, and it was time to put them vertical. Shout out to everybody who came out to help me out with that. It was certainly not a one-man job by any stretch of the word.
I want you to jump in there and stop it. If it starts to go, no, I'm kidding. 3, go. Yeah. We might have to get it a little closer. Here, just hold on. Let's just come down a little bit. There we go. We're good. How's the end look? Is it flush?
This side needs to come forward a little bit more. Right about there. Okay.
Okay, coming up.
Yep. Nice and slow. Nice and slow.
Yep. You look like a bunch of almonds.
Needs to come closer, like about an inch.
Bottom of it then. We need someone with a hammer to hammer the bottom over.
Go snug that side really quick.
I have about an inch between the
Yeah,
end
well,
of 8 on the side. Sure, right there.
2, 3. 1, 2.
And Brandon.
That's about as far as we can go. Perfect. Looks good.
And then we can level it out.
Isn't
Isn't it where the studs are lined up or
your
what?
studs, 16-inch centers on your floor, your 16-inch centers on your wall. You can. It's not a huge big deal, but I mean, you've got your rim joist.
The studs are on edge underneath, right?
No.
No, forget it. Yeah.
Well, this one will be a lot easier, this wall.
Are you pulling those off already, Brett? Give us incredible. Without that, your wall is going to bust.
Bigger one. There's that.
Hey.
No, drop it. There you go. Leave it alone. Forget about it. Here.
Oh, is there one there?
Yeah, right here, Ian.
Oh, hey, right.
Who'd have thought you needed so much?
Broke my other one, so picked it up last night.
Give me your spirit.
We got fingers under everything?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, we'll slide it towards them a little bit.
Hello, again.
A little bit more. Right there, yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, straight up. Yeah.
Come out.
1, 2, 3. Nice and slow. Yeah.
Why is this one so much heavier?
Because it's got all the studs put together.
Nobody's on that side of it?
Nope.
I think you might need to hammer it into it, actually.
Thanks to Mom, Dad, and Brett for coming, donating another day of their time to help me with this harebrained project. For Mr. Dyken and Kale for their helping hands as well. And Ian for coming by and making sure we didn't fuck the whole thing up. And I gotta admit, this was pretty fucking cool. I knew I was making progress just from having completed framing the walls, but framed walls that are laying down horizontally versus framed walls that are standing up vertically, it makes a big difference on, how finished the project is looking, obviously. So close. Where is he? I hear you. That's so fucking cool. this one here is one of my personal favorites. This is one of my best Northern Lights time lapses that I've personally taken. It's just, it looks pretty nonchalant, then wham! Hello! There's the color. There they are. Now, to deal with that little bit of foreshadowing that I snuck in earlier in the video, you remember that slip tank that was on the skinny end of the Squirrel Hotel? Well, I traded that to Mr. Dyken for some trusses that he had sitting in his front yard for a couple years. Right. That was one of the best trade agreements that I've ever reached. I felt like fucking Trump. Now, just in case you maybe fast forwarded and didn't catch the first disclaimer, do not attempt to do anything that you're about to watch in this next clip. Let's just quote the eternally great Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder, where he acknowledges the fact that you're never supposed to go full retard. Well, doing trusses by yourself without being tied off in the middle of nowhere in flip-flops is indeed going full retard. I say this because it's irrefutably hard to be on both sides of the truss at the same time, like on opposite sides of the building, but I think that goes without saying. Of course, as you've all heard, if there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, ultimately it ended up working out, and I didn't fall off the roof yet at this point in the project. That's coming later. Now, I know I've said quite a few times now that this is not a tutorial on how you should be building anything, because I am not the guy you should be asking on how to build stuff. That's not my forte. One thing that was the right method, this I learned from Ian, so I know for sure it's true. To get your trusses to line up, what you do is you do the two end ones and you use a little scab of whatever, OSB or plywood or something like that, and you tie a string line off your two end trusses, like at the extremities of the building, to make sure that the rest of your trusses, because like if you just push your trusses up into the string, at some point somebody's going to be a little bit snug, which pushes the string out of whack, and none of your fucking trusses line up.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Going back to what I was saying about, you know, the stupidity involved of doing roofing by yourself in the middle of nowhere, having a second set of hands where they could stay at the skinny end of the truss and make sure that the spacing was appropriate would have certainly sped this part of the process up. But, you know, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're more than likely going to find yourself as a do-it-aloner at some point. So you can either sit there and be a big wah-wah, or you can grab your nuts and get it fucking done.
Almost got me again. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh.
Now, as big of a difference as it made having the walls go from horizontal to vertical, I'd argue an even bigger difference, at least visually, for like how much progress has been made on this project. Seeing all the trusses up, even if it's just the bare bones, like the skeleton of the house, that was another pretty huge milestone. The play now was to make my custom window frames to hold all my glass and then put glass in the walls. It was a little bit drafty in here without having the windows installed. And again, this is not a one-man job. Thanks again, Dad, for your help. I really appreciate it. There's not a snowball's chance in hell I would have lifted this glass into these window frames by myself. We managed to do it without any of them breaking. And honestly, that's a win and I'll take it.
There's more water. There's more water. There's more water. Some real dirty windows.
Mama Bear came in clutch with this Kijiji find. For the grand total cost of free, she found this wicked storm door on Kijiji. And, I mean, you can't beat it. The other door I had in the ice fishing shack, I could see sunlight on all four edges of the door frame, which, if you can see light coming through, that's not airtight at all, typically. This door doesn't have that problem. The other notable change between the ice fishing shack and my new place is that the chimney, instead of going out the wall, is going right out through the fucking roof, like a real chimney do. I expect that this new install should be more conducive to allowing Santa Claus to stop by this winter and hopefully bring some presents, 'cause last year I suppose he was MIA. We got the shingles done just in time for the first snowfall. And now it's just the coin flip of, is the weather going to cooperate long enough for me to be able to transfer my stove from the ice fishing shack into my new place? And yeah, basically seeing if this little dinky propane heater that I have was going to be enough to keep myself from freezing in the meantime. Now, once the stove was moved into my new place, there was really no turning back at this point. It probably goes without saying, but it's mind-bogglingly difficult to keep a place warm, such as this ice fishing shack, where there's 5 12-inch by 12-inch square holes in the ground. Obviously, an ice fishing shack, you need to be able to fish through the ground of the building. So those are drafty enough, but now I have a 6-inch hole where my chimney used to be, coming through the upper part of my wall. So, this building is drafty. But when the dust settles on October 29th, I'm moving in. And that's a pretty damn cool feeling. Thanks again, Dad, for your help hooking up these solar panels. I don't like electricity, but for the second time now, there's been a successful solar installation where no one has gotten shocked, and I'll count that as a win. Now, the cherry on top, for the first time in a year and a half, I get to sleep in a real bed tonight. No more fucking foamies. No more single wide cot. A real fucking queen size mattress with memory foam. As far as I'm concerned, I'm winning. Anyways, that's the end of this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see something else from out here in the forest, you let me know. Leave a comment or something like that. Hope you guys are having a great day. And, you know, fuck it. Be radical. Do something that makes your future self proud. That shit feels fucking good. Love y'all. Peace.